yeah, it came about. It's quite weird, you know, because Alan said we're going to get a few of you together. I want to meet someone who I'm thinking will be our new MD. And so there's one or two of us, you know, the more senior people in Voltron.
I mean, we were introduced to Brendan as Brendan, no surname, no nothing. And what impressed us was his memory. I mean, it's like we were introduced to him, and afterwards, when it was his turn to actually speak, he got up and he said, okay, Roelof, you from Johannesburg, etc., etc. Do you have any questions? And Malcolm, you from Germiston, any questions? And I thought, well, he's a sharp boykie.
It was kind of more like an interview. So it was like he was interviewing us, as opposed to us sort of sussing him out.
He actually thought it was a takeover, and he just had the name.
I said to Malcolm, he's not an MD, this guy. I mean, this smacks of a takeover, you know.
And him and Malcolm tried to Google to find out who this Brendan guy was. Couldn't find anything.
And we Googled Brendan this and Brendan that, because we didn't have the surname. We didn't know where Brendan came from.
I just went away. This guy is not going to be an employee. This guy will not be the MD and have someone else tell him how to run the business. So I thought, no, I think Voltron's up for sale.
The course of events, 2014 was kind of closing up my era with Prime Meridian Direct. The end of 2014, went across to the US in 2015 to study at MIT. And while I was there, I was thinking about ideas.
Brendan's always been pretty driven. I don't know that he had clear goals, you know, when he was 17 when I met him, but he always said to me that he wants to make an impact on this world, and I don't think he ever knew in what form that would take, but that he wanted to change something, that he wouldn't have just come through this world and one day, you know, at his funeral people would have said, well, you know, these are the very small things that Brendan did and these are the people that he met, and that would be it. I think he always wanted to do something greater than himself.
Both my brother and I never wanted to be trust fund kids. We knew too many trust fund kids and it was just embarrassing. We wanted to be men that stood on their own feet. So first task then was to create the resource. And so our early experience, my late 20s to my mid 30s, was about building resource. It never fulfilled that desire to change society. We tried on occasion through different aspects of Prime Meridian Direct to try and have a greater reach, but given the nature of that business, it was difficult to do it. The entire time that we were building that business, my ultimate desire was always to start something that would start having some impact.
He always knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur, that he couldn't stay in employment because employment was never going to allow him to have impact the way that he wanted to have impact. He was always going to be bound by what someone was telling him to do. So even when he was doing his articles and a manager at an audit firm, it was with the aim to learn and see and then to take that into something of his own afterwards.
Brendan, I think, having come back from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, MIT, wanted to know what he was going to do with the rest of his life, spent a lot of time researching it, and settled on a network marketing operation known as DuePoint, as you well know.
So somewhere around the April, so we'd gone in the January, somewhere around the April, this idea and this opportunity had presented itself in terms of there's this Voltron business, and there's the potential of being able to buy into that, and then obviously work with what Brendan knew, which was the insurance space and the insurance products into that, and so and working with existing relationships that they have with other insurers and perhaps bringing that all together.
And you can escalate that at 10% every quarter. You just phone us up and say, I've got the product now, please increase it by 10% every quarter. Or you can tell us to increase it by 20% or 30, whatever your choice is. Or you could start with more than 100. But in this case, 199, 100's included there. Does it make sense?
My father was approached by a guy he had worked with in the 90s called Alan Schneeberger, who said to him, listen, I'm selling up a business, a network marketing business, and was wondering if you're interested in it. My dad brought it to me, started thinking about it and thought, well, if my purpose is to change people's lives and change the society I live in, what better tool than this one? And it's readily available. And there's a start, and I have experience in it, years and years of experience in it. This could be the one we do right. This could be the one where we get rid of all the problems that are commensurate with traditional network marketing. And we make it the best wealth creation tool that's ever existed. And we seed it out of South Africa, of all places. And that started that thought process that led us ultimately to you and me sitting on the 1st of August 2015 and designing and laying out the first pieces of DuePoint.
In the meantime, Brendan had exited the PMD, the Prime Meridian business, and had gone on tour to MIT in the States, and upon his return, suddenly gave me a phone call out the blue. He was working in the same offices a couple of floors down. Gave me a call and asked me to meet with him, and sat down, and we had about an hour discussion as to the aspirations for the business that he wanted to start, and had asked me if I'd be willing to join him in forming this new business. And and within a couple of weeks I'd moved downstairs into the office with Brendan, and we started to really form what was his brainchild and start creating this business, which didn't even have a name at that stage.
The DuePoint system creates an unlimited, controllable, permanent recurring income for anyone who is willing to connect South Africans to DuePoint. For anyone.
Yeah, so the first few days, this is August 2015. This is 6 months before we launched. Amazingly, that we could get a business up and running that quickly. But those first few weeks were designing the team. And that really was Brendan's responsibility, in which he decided to choose key individuals to come on board with us.
I think he knew I wanted to be in a professional environment where there's high standards and good quality of work, and so he brought me to this office before any of the renovations were done, and showed me the plans and what he had hoped it would be and his vision for what DuePoint would be.
I wasn't working at that stage, and when he phoned me, hi Bridge, tell me about DuePoint. Would you like to join me? Without a blink, without a second thought, yes.
Well, the first time I came here, he said to me, this is not an interview, I'm just going to give you some information. And that's how the discussion started.
He said, Anna, are you ready to work for me? Because I called you that you can come work for me. And I said, wow, I would love that. And she said, are you working? I said, no. He said, I was ready to convince you, even if you were. So I thought, oh, okay.
So do you think then you made a decision based on the person and not the business he was proposing?
I didn't know about the business. Based on him and our relationship throughout the years we worked together, yes. And then I came in and I spoke to him, and then he told me about the business, where we're going, what's it all about. Slightly different from where we were, and the goals, the visions, and.
But I think I joined the person in a sense that I knew what, that Brendan, he's very entrepreneurial and he goes until he succeeds. And yeah, I knew he would just keep, that it would be exciting and that he would keep pursuing it until we get somewhere. So, and he's very convincing.
Specifically designed to allow South Africans to earn and reward themselves every month, DuePoint designed the unique Access Wealth plan with the simple concept in mind.
In the early days, when he used to go onto YouTube, we used to actually watch him, and they'd say, "Where's Dad tonight?" And I'd put the YouTube on, and I'd say, "Well, there's Dad," and they'd actually, watch him in the early days, which they don't do as much now, obviously. But in the early days, they'd watch him, and so I think he set an amazing example for them in terms of, you work for the things you want. And if you have a passion for something, you don't sit back and wait for it to happen. You've actually got to go out there and start working. And so I think he's been a phenomenal example in terms of work ethic and how you achieve things. So my daughter's got great aspirations. She's going to MIT as well. And that's the vision he's given them.
Reward or pay yourself first. It's an old saying, full of meaning and never truer than in today's context.
Brendan's words were he wanted a business that looked like a private bank within the financial sector. And obviously, if you've had any experience with a private bank, you know that it's something that has to be very sophisticated. It's got to be very slick. Everything has to work properly. And so we started really developing the look and feel of this business. And even the name only was decided on weeks after that. But the name really tied into the work we had already done with regards to the brand and what appeal it had to have in this very niche business that we were looking at creating. Good morning and welcome. Today is a special day, and you guys are a very special 100 networkers. So I assume you're either Alan's favorite networkers or the best networkers in the country. The best.
The best looking.
So almost in the basement of Prime Meridian's offices, the 6-month process of getting this team together, really getting all the aspects required to get this business up and running. We had a couple of external partners involved to help us do that, and it all came down to this launch day. We had a whole bunch of people that again had been selected to help us launch the business, and that was the Boltron network of individuals. And so we had our brand new premises that we spent a lot of time and effort in developing, the ones we're still in today. And we launched the business to about 120 people in our auditorium. Brendan is very used to public speaking, me less so. And so we had what was very much a full day of presenting to this primed audience of 120 individuals with all the aspirations in the world that they would see what we were trying to do and what we wanted to achieve, and trying to convince them of that. And then the next few weeks would really prove whether that was successful or not.
And so it is that I told them, if I come in, we're going to do this properly. And what we did when we sat down to create DuePoint from Boltron, I said to my team on the very first day, we're not creating or advancing another network in South Africa. That's not what we're doing. We are going to create the private bank of network marketing in South Africa.
So I've got a ticket for 2, so I phoned a big mate of mine and I said, Marius, this guy launched a company, I don't know what it is, but he's got food. So Marius couldn't resist such love And he was actually in tears because he had a stalk party with the in-laws. So he said, Dan, I'll come and pick you up.
First person that I saw when I got out of the car was Brian Bedfield. And I said, Brian, what are you doing here? He said, Brendan's my boy. I said, well, that's a connection. Now we know exactly how the whole family fits together.
So Marius ate Brendan's food, and I sat here in the auditorium and I listened to what this guy said.
Well, I liked his attitude and the way he presented himself, very dynamic. I'm also a short guy, so he has another short guy, but he's really dynamic. And that he shared with us really made sense to me.
And the products, the electronics, scary things made a lot of sense. So I made a list, I still have that list of concerns. And I came back that night and I said to my wife, I'm joining this company, I'm going to do this.
I was quite confident that he would be able to do what he said, which is basically change the whole business around. And I liked the whole new concept, or the concept of a new image that he was going to create, not knowing, of course, that it's going to be a new company.
He said he's impressed, but he's keeping his options open to see what is happening, of hierdie windgat ouetjie gaan deliver en wat sy posisie gaan wees, to see where he's going to fit into the bigger scheme of things.
We were very glad that the young new face is going to take over, and we had lots of hope for the future again.
I was determined not to be part of the new company because I was faithful to the old one. And then Alan Schneeberger said to me, don't be silly, you must get what you deserve. I don't know why he said that, but that was his, and I decided to give him a chance. I don't believe people easily. I didn't know Brendan, I didn't know how are they going to do work, but fortunately I didn't know all these things, and all these things came in play. And then in the end, when I got my first pay in DuePoint, I realized that this company is serious. I think Brendan did an exceptional presentation the first day of convincing us. We met Brendan before we joined DuePoint, and he said to all of us, I think we were 18 people, he said to us, if you stick with me, I'll make you millionaires. And I want to hold him to that. But he did a very good presentation, and I decided, okay, we'll see where it goes. And I decided to join immediately. We did, both me and my husband joined, and we're not really sorry about that. I think it was the best decision of my life.
How do you apply to become a wealth engineer at DuePoint? Well, you have two options. You can either utilize the DuePoint phone app, or you can go to our website, www.dewpoint.net. Once you have successfully applied to become a wealth engineer, your W number or your reference number with us and your password will automatically be SMS'd to you. Once you've received that SMS, go to either the Google Play Store or the Apple iStore and download the DuePoint app onto your phone. When it's on your phone, select it and then log in utilizing your W number and password that was SMS'd to you. Once you've opened and logged into your app, press your name in the top left-hand corner and take a profile picture of yourself. That'll earn you your first 1,000 XP with us here at DuePoint.
So on the face of it, the launch was really successful. Everything went exceedingly well. It seemed to have been met with a lot of positivity. We met a lot of the people upstairs. We went for drinks upstairs onto the wonderful deck on the 3rd floor. And I guess we had no idea whether these individuals were convinced by this proposition we had put forward. And I guess if you reflected on the numbers, you would say it wasn't successful, because out of the 120 people, I think we had a handful, literally a handful of individuals that came to us and said, we're interested, we want to work with you, let's do this. The majority, the large majority, just kept quiet and we never saw them again.
Machine.
started in one office with Rob and his tractor coffee machine. And yeah, so it was Rob, Jane, myself, and Tim. We all sat in one office, and then Brendan sat across the way because he's more important than us. But we had the coffee machine.
You know, internally as staff, we were super excited by everything that we were doing. We were very progressive from a technology point of view, so that was exciting. You know, we had launched this beautiful, really well-oiled machine to the public.
You know, we were looking on the reports, we've got this whole system set up. It's ready to receive all the business, and then we get the report and there's the first client. And that tells you that we started that journey.
There was a lot of pressure in terms of long hours and, you know, and not necessarily, I wasn't necessarily at home at that stage a lot because it was all about growth.
Lastly, and this is the one that excites me the most and is giving stomach ulcers to my IT guys, is that we have built this auditorium with all the equipment required for live streaming. So it is our hope that in the next few days, and again, you know, it's new tech and we're rolling out right now, in the next few days to few weeks, we will begin presenting all of the presentations that occur in this auditorium live on the internet, which means we have instantaneous national footprint. You can call your friend in Pofadisrus and say, at 6:30 tonight, log in here, Brendan is presenting, and you bring me live into the lounges of every single person.
We had a full schedule. We were doing intro presentations publicly and live streaming the intro presentations every single day of the week except Sunday. And on some of those days we were doing 2 sessions a day. And so we were really busy.
We've set out this platform, and all we need is people to plug into it. And, you know, we're waiting. We're waiting for people to connect other people through to us.
As a new wealth engineer at DuePoint, you have one goal, and that is to get qualified so that you can start earning at DuePoint. How do you get qualified? It's really simple. You need to go out and find 3 people who take a DuePoint product. When they've paid and you've paid, you are now a qualified wealth engineer and have started earning at DuePoint.
When we started, it was like nothing wowing, firstly, okay, like any other business. Very slow, but remember that we actually catch up quickly because with us, we want money and this is our bread and butter. So it's about numbers, you know.
Brendan looked very focused. He looked very convinced. Something in his demeanor made me think, you know, this guy is either very serious or he's a total lunatic. So I thought, I'm going to write a few questions and I'm going to come see him. I'm going to look him in the eye and see which side his eyes moves when he answers me.
Wealth engineers should understand that the journey of their wealth creation at DuePoint will not be the way they originally perceived it. It's just not going to be the way they perceived it. That's very difficult for the average person. The journey of getting to wealth will be open, it'll be in every direction, it's the unknown, and it's the adventure. And if you can embrace it like that as a wealth engineer, you know that the sky is the limit. Well, then you're not worried if so-and-so was going to be an amazing builder and then dropped you. Instead, it's about who's next, where do we go next, what do I try next, how do I change from what I'm doing, follow this infinite set of possibilities, a mindset of a game that never ends and keeps changing.
This morning, as we look ahead, we think of the last 4 months of this year, really effectively the last 4 months of this year, as the best time of this year to be creating wealth in South Africa and through DuePoint.
In the beginning, I was very surprised that my team was so despondent. They said it's like a funeral because now Boltron is dead and this is a new company. They don't know if they can trust the company. So then everything went down, you know. I had more than 1,000 people resign in my team. So I said, no, I'll start again. I must just get some courage again.
For us, it was like a huge mind shift change because in traditional network marketing, you're always told to go deep, work deep. You know, and then a lot of people will come to you and they'll say to you, network marketing is so hard because if you don't build a huge team, you can't earn. And yeah, Brendan was saying, go wide and focus on your first two levels or first two channels. So for us, it was really a mind shift change because we were never used to recruiting.
The take-up was pretty slow in comparison to the effort that we were putting in. And so I suspect there was a little bit of frustration, but I don't think the frustration was that much. I think we were so busy in getting this business out into the public and getting as much engagement as possible that it certainly didn't cause us to slow down or to hesitate.
When we actually sign up SPA, and everything just shoot on the sky.
I'm going to Cape Town for free.
The following day, the money was growing. The following week, the money was growing. I was like, no, this thing is too much now. This thing is too much now. It's not for me, because now it's like it's a magic. It was like this before or something, but it was like this. But for you now, we like now everyone is worried about what is going on. Maybe Durban is the place where we can move so that we can get some people. What are your tools? What are you using for people?
We went to a restaurant. We have some lunch. Over there. The best restaurant ever in Cape Town. I can tell you that this is the best restaurant ever.
In 5 months, having somebody like that in the team, going to rank 9, 5 months, that is something else. You know, remember, it's not about Mauritius, you're going to rank 9. It's about an income that is also increasing again every single month, you know. And you've got other people that are also benefiting from this whole thing that we started in 2016.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted this morning to hand over this car to our latest rank 11s, Patrick and Phumi Latuli. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, Patrick.
And we saw that in DuePoint, actually, if you've built a big team and you do go deep, you're going to earn money. But if you've got nobody that duplicates and you just go wide, you're going to earn more money. And all of a sudden, to us, it was like, this is actually just makes so much sense because now you've got total control. If you're not making money, it's only your own fault.
The very first Converge that he had was absolutely awesome meeting or session that we had. And I think that's where I switched on, is at that Converge, is when I saw that everything they said, they promised, everything they delivered.
Converge is most certainly a critical event. One, again, not just for celebrating wealth engineers and recognizing them on stage for their efforts for that particular year, but also for demonstrating the success that DuePoint is having in wealth engineers' lives. And that is absolutely critical because that's the proof in the pudding. That's showing people what DuePoint is doing. And so that is almost the business's testimony come to life. And we have to do that every year. We We publish it on every single platform every single year, and we really get to show off what DuePoint's doing in South Africa with normal South Africans, normal individuals that have just decided one day to come be part of this business, and then as quickly as 12 months are able to show how the business is impacting them on a personal level.
We grew in our belief system in what DuePoint was doing, and I think it was the first or the second conversion, not the first big one, the second one. When we left there, we knew that this was it. It was just so clear, regardless of what's going to happen, because those are temporary things that come and go. We just knew that this is it. This is what we're going to do until the day we actually keel over, but this is what we're going to do.
The first year was okay. You know, we're starting to reach out into the market. Second year, boom, exploded. You know, we had so many people coming. The office was packed. We had every chair used. There was standing room only. I think I remember the one day we had 200 people in the office. I mean, that was crazy. I mean, we were like running around. You know, it was hectic. But it was awesome because there was this energy. We had actually reached, you know, the market, and we had plenty of people coming through.
The numbers were just rising. We had more people joining every single day. The numbers were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single day. The phones were getting busier. Client service was running around. We were setting records every single day.
The energy was so high that we used to wait for the next morning. What's our figures? Where are we? You know what I mean?
It was hectic. It was insane. The calls you couldn't, I tell you, at that stage, you put the phone down, the phone would ring, and it just consistently from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, you know, it was insane.
It was so awesome. It was like you were on this high, you know, and you didn't want that high to stop. It just had to keep going.
But it was incredible to see and to hear all these people that were so enthusiastic about joining DuePoint, you know. It was phenomenal. It was absolutely amazing. The number of people that were being connected on a daily basis was, wow.
And so there was huge elation around the sudden rise in the business, a lot of excitement, massive engagement from so many people around the country, to the extent that when we would go visit different parts of the country in person and go do almost these meet and greets and a little bit of an intro presentation and some training in the various regions, that the venues were just absolutely packed with individuals. In Durban especially, we had 300-400 people arriving there to come see what this business DuePoint was all about. And so, very exciting period, and those records still stand today.
There was a lot of pressure in terms of long hours and, you know, and not necessarily, I wasn't necessarily at home at that stage a lot because it was all about growth.
I would say my first highlight of DuePoint was watching Spamandla get to rank 9 in 5 months. He may not be with us today, but what he demonstrated to every single wealth engineer was that it could be done. He demonstrated that the system worked. He demonstrated that if somebody had the proper heart and desire for it, they could make themselves wealthy quickly. That was a pivotal moment even for me, because until that point, nobody had proved to me that the system we had built actually worked. He proved it. My faith has been unwavering since then.
You know, in the beginning of last year, we had our first explosion. The name got out there, people got excited about DuePoint, and we really started to boom. So from Jan, Feb last year, we've seen quite a lot of growth. And then we got to the point, which we believe is quite a significant point. In June, July last year, we hit the 500,000 Rand a month mark. So at that point, we were paying over 500,000 Rand a month in returns.
So eventually, Marsha and Roloff phoned, and actually it was more Marsha that said, no, we must come and have a look, and look at your app. The team is growing. Look at the app. And then I had a look and I saw, no, it's really growing. So I started getting hope again, and then I started building again, talking to my people, and then things started happening again.
It's very easy for people to make you promises, but by delivering the promises, for me, that is important. For me, my word is more important than anything else. I never want to get involved in anything that can hurt anybody. And I do not easily believe people. That's why I've never been involved in a scam, because I do my homework first. And if I don't see where the money comes from, then I don't join. But the moment when I entered this premises here, I saw it was really, really nice. It was good. The people looked very good, but I still need to build that trust. And that is why it took me about 1.5 years before I really realized that I'm sitting with the answer to all our prayers in my hands. I'm just not using it. And I made the decision to quit everything and start focusing on DuePoint. And the results are spectacular.
Well, to go from rank 9 to 11, all right, which is just 2 ranks, you have to do it again. You have to put another 1,000 in. So effectively, Lynette and Frikkie stand here today as double rank 9s, and they did it in 12 months.
For me at first, because I hear network marketing and I'm like, ooh, not so sure. So initially, that's actually what put me off was the nature of the business in a way, because I didn't understand network marketing. I just had this perception of friends inviting you to dinner and then hitting you with the hard sale. So yeah, that's what put me off, was the reputation of the industry. But yeah, Brendan was very convincing of, no, we're going to do things differently and we're going to change the reputation.
And this worked, and it worked really, from an early point in time. So they launched and the new products went out and it worked. But it wasn't easy. There were a lot of discussions with the FSCA in terms of their products, and they had to go through establishing themselves and improving themselves and proving their legitimacy.
This message is brought to you by the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, FSCA. The FSCA expects all financial service providers to treat their customers fairly. As a customer, you also need to take charge of your own financial situation by asking the right questions. For more information, visit fscamymoney.co.za.
We knew when we started the fight we were going to have to fight around that. And of course, we needed to prove it to our regulators. We had 138 pieces of regulation we had to understand, we had to apply, and we had to adapt our business for, and then comply with.
Well, it was a very important moment, because prior to that we'd had numerous 10, 11, 12 inquiries from the FSB as to what is this business, what is DuePoint, what is it all about. So we went out to make a presentation to them.
The FSCA is the most aggressive regulator we have in the country. They come with the biggest teeth, and their objective always, they won't like me saying this, but it is, their objective always is to find fault.
Well, we didn't go there ill-prepared. It wasn't an ad-lib situation. We had prepared a presentation, which we went through in the DuePoint presentation room several times over, with lots of people watching and listening and criticizing and saying, well, if you present it that way, it may be misunderstood, rather try it this way. So it was a well-polished presentation by the time we got there. I did the introduction, Brendan did most of the detailed presentation and answering of the questions. And as I say at the end, everybody was very, very comfortable. We were actually quite surprised at the positive response we got right there and then.
The energy after that was probably one of relief, if anything, because that was most certainly a tipping point, right? It could have either gone badly or it could have gone well. It was either or. And fortunately, I think because of all the preparation and the homework that we had done on this business, it was met in a positive light.
It really was pleasing for us to know that we had the regulator on our side and that the regulator was fully in the picture and understood what we were about. When you present DuePoint to somebody, it's not something you can do in a minute or two. I don't think we were high-fiving in the lobby, but we were quite delighted actually with the outcome. It was a better response than we had expected.
To that point, we'd been trading for about 11 months. We'd received 11 letters from the FSCA. I had to answer 11 queries from the FSCA. Since that meeting, 4 years ago, we've received 1.
Is it sometimes you project something onto people and they think to please you, they should agree to what you're doing, what you project onto them, but it's not what turns them on.
So then after experiencing this bubble, we know what happens to bubbles. And even with a little bit of warning from some of the more experienced people in the business, we experienced this tapering off of the business.
I remember that it was all about the KZN was all about the money in their pockets, and they were misinterpreting the products as well. But yeah, as time goes on, as Brendan could see that these people, yes, we've got lots of people, but it's not quality.
The way it was going, I could see maybe after few months it might drop. People with no smartphone, people with no account, when they want to join, they must, after the presentation, they run and open the bank account.
When you start any network, there's always a group of people that want to hop on and they see this as the next new thing. This is the place where they can come and make a lot of money quick. It's not real business, because as quickly as that business comes on board, it falls away, because these people only tend to stay in any business for few months at most, 3 months, 4 months, and if they can't see a way that they can manipulate it for themselves, then they're off to the next thing.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting times. You know, we'd see sales late at night and you arrive the next morning and the sales numbers are good. And then pulled back from that a bit and just, yeah, we realized the quality of that business wasn't what we thought it was. And that the message out there wasn't what we would have portrayed. So yeah, we lost quite a bit of that business through the over the next few months.
So 2016 was a tough year for me. I'll be honest with you. I had greater expectation for the speed at which we would grow, particularly because we had brought on the Boltron guys who had experience and started with a little bit of a base.
Brendan's natural inclination at that stage was, well, we must be needing to do more. So putting on himself the pressure of, well, we've got to produce more and do more and show more in order to increase the production, because we're obviously not doing enough. And I don't think it's a case of, in hindsight, that he wasn't doing enough. It was a case of, there was quite a lot of caution around the new enterprise. And so, I think the natural doubts that developed in his mind and the pressure that, well, for every month that we're running at a loss, then we only have so much time to make this thing work. And so enormous pressure on him to see production lift.
Oh, well, that's a bit heartbreaking, actually, when you see business dropping off. And for me, having been in startups before, it's like a 18-month cycle, 2 years tops, and then boom, it's gone.
But the mindset in Durban, it's totally different, because we attracted the so-called networkers. They call themselves networkers. We attracted them. And we thought that they understand network marketing, which no, they don't. Even today, they don't understand network marketing. They see us doing it. They know that DuePoint is amazing. They've started it, and some of them were still approaching them, said, guys, come back, because since you left DuePoint, 2016, maybe they've done over 100 businesses. Hundreds businesses, because in a month they do about 20 new. So it's about hundreds businesses that they've already done. But they haven't got where they think that they will.
Because the way they act or the way they talk, they think, no, this is taking too long, or this is not for me, I'll never make it. And when you have that attitude, then you can't do anything right. Then everything goes wrong.
And sometimes I feel sorry for people. Whatever comes, they run, because if they go, they promise them a lot of things, and they don't do it. And look at that crowd thing was just now. Where is it now? It's gone. And people, they get, I don't know how I'm gonna put it. They get scared to come back. They feel like if they come back, it's gonna be like they were. Yeah, they don't want to come back. They feel embarrassed. They feel embarrassed. Let me just put it like that. They feel embarrassed to come back.
You come up with an idea, and then you come up with the technology that goes behind the idea, and you put your heart and soul into it. And then then no one's interested, in a sense, or only a few are interested, when your expectation and your hope was that people would grab the vision and run with it. And so there are a few at that stage that have got a little bit of the vision, and they're working at it, but it's slow going. But they're not enough in the early days to actually substantiate having the business.
What it taught me, though, was that this business is not one that I can control with levers. When I was building Primary and Direct with my brother, it was a lever business. Like if I wanted more sales, we just pumped more into marketing and we got more leads in. Like it was a very direct control business. This business is a business of faith. We put out everything we can, and then we need to let the market do what the market does with it.
And I think he felt this tremendous frustration that there wasn't something where he could do something and then there would be a direct result. So it wasn't like he could do this and then that would result in that. And so there was a big learning curve in terms of him having to say, well, some of these things are out of my hands, and I've got to just wait.
When the numbers started rising, we had a lot of people join us just because we were popular, I think. And those were never going to be the individuals whose lives we were going to change. And so when those people turned away, then we could start focusing on people that saw the long-term prospects of what DuePoint had always promised from the beginning.
We then started compacting the book with more solid individuals that were with us for the long term. They were here with the vision and the long haul, and they were building properly.
And so we saw this slow and steady rise in the numbers, and that was a lot more promising to us as a business. I even remember Dr. Benfield saying, this is good for us. You need to have experienced this lull, this drop in business where you get to reflect a lot more deeply into what you're doing. You never want only success in the business, because then you develop blind spots. And so we were able to address any blind spots that we perhaps had, And then with that slow rise in business again, we were a lot more confident in what we were doing and the people that we were attracting to DuePoint.
A 38-year-old man has indeed tested positive for coronavirus in South Africa.
Wuhan is the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak where it was first detected.
I'm trying to not panic, but I'm playing it safe.
Today the early bird catches a worm.
No need for stockpiling of any items. The National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown for 21 days with effect from midnight on Thursday, the 26th of March. All South Africans will have to stay at home.
So who could ever have predicted 2020? Maybe Bill Gates. But would we have ever known that we would have been able to build a business that would be able to not only survive this pandemic, but to thrive in it? And so I think 2020 is an important year. It again demonstrates the ability of this business to fly in the face of circumstance, but only on the back of a person's efforts. If we are constantly going to look at our circumstances and hope that our circumstances are going to dictate our success or not, then you've lost the opportunity that DuePoint is offering you. DuePoint is offering you something that you can work at in the face of your circumstances. And so I think, at the beginning of that year, 2020, the year of plenty, was everyone's wish that our circumstances would allow us to be successful. But it proved that only those individuals that were willing to put in the hard work and defy the circumstances, those were the individuals that were going to rise above this pandemic.
2020 was supposed to be a year where everyone is crying. We're joining the choir. We had all these circumstances in 2020, but the business has been going up.
I'm still staying in a good area. I'm still staying there, you see, with my family. Other people now already, they went back to Soweto, they went back to Alex, they went back to wherever, but I'm still staying here.
DuePoint didn't have to change anything in its platform. The business was designed from day one to withstand that. Not with the knowledge that we were going to have to face a pandemic, just because when we built the business, we made it as progressive as possible. We leveraged all the technology possible, and that has now been proven to have been worthwhile. And so if anything had to change in 2020, it was the way wealth engineers were connecting with other individuals. And so there was a slight shift in the training that we did in 2020, and that was to help individuals suddenly make this shift onto social media, onto digital platforms, in being able to connect people to DuePoint. And I hope that by the end of this development seminar, what you get out of it is the confidence to immerse yourself into this online environment. This development seminar is going to follow the wealth creation process that DuePoint has always had. Whether you are building online or offline, the process is the same. The principles are the same.
It's Wednesday morning and we're rounding the corner on the end of our second week of lockdown in South Africa. If you're new to DuePoint, if this is your first time that you're connecting with us today, my name is Brendan Benfield. I'm the Senior Executive of DuePoint and the co-founder of DuePoint, which we started back in 2015. Today, I hope that as you're connected to our introduction presentations and to the plethora of information we have available to you through our website, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook pages, I encourage you to take some time to put aside your prejudice, put aside your stigmas, put aside your preconceptions of what DuePoint may be, and just take an hour or two today and properly look into who we are, what we do, and what we have tried to create here with the technology we've used at DuePoint.
When we went to lockdown, I had to call everyone, hey guys, it's time that we change. So those who were willing to change, they made it to the business And those who were resisting change, they did not make it.
Being successful in DuePoint's not just going to land in your lap. You have to go out there, you have to do the legwork. If you're working through via social media to try and introduce people, you have to adapt your skills to that as well. Some of our wealth engineers have done that very successfully. And it also depends on their personality. Some people are happy to work via Facebook. Some people are happy to work via social media. Other people prefer the face-to-face. So you've got a lot of different dynamics coming together, even in the wealth engineers that we bring together here.
When I decided to go online, that is when things changed, you know. I didn't know anything about Facebook. I didn't even open my own Facebook account. A friend of mine opened my account and she invited all the friends and things like that. I couldn't do that. I wasn't capable of doing it. But I realized that the only way forward was to go online, and because you can get to way more people online than you can ever speak in a personal way.
Every now and then we chat to all of our already signed up wealth engineers and we tell them how we're doing. And this morning I thought it a good opportunity for us to do it again. I took the first 10 days of April. Those are 10 days in the middle of now what has been extended to a 5-week lockdown. And I asked myself the question, what have wealth engineers been doing in those 10 days? Have their hours at home been wasted, or have they converted it into real lifetime sustainable wealth?
The figures were just soaring. I mean, when we were working from home, with all the challenges we faced, you know, with the phones and things, it was just like soaring up, soaring on those eagle's wings.
68 wealth engineers have managed to find more than 3 people a week during lockdown, stuck in their houses to connect. The yeses are out there, ladies and gentlemen. The yeses are out there. How many, if we go to the bottom of this list and we say how many people have managed to find a yes this month? 433 people have found at least one yes this month. At least one. 433. This translates into thousands of individuals that have joined us this month. Thousands of people who have said yes to DuePoint. Thousands, guys, in 23 days of April, while stuck in their houses. Thousands of individuals have joined DuePoint. Do not ever give up hope. Do not put this tool down. It is the banner, it is the torch of light that we have in our economy today, and it's called DuePoint. If you're a wealth engineer or a guest this evening, get out there, use this tool, and start creating economic change for yourself in this environment of crippled economy that we live in today.
So important in 2020 when businesses were facing probably the toughest crisis ever. South Africa's economy was already in trouble. And so for DuePoint to have the success of 2 wealth engineers increasing the sizes of their businesses, reaching a milestone like rank 11 and getting R250,000 car paid for in cash by DuePoint, and being able to demonstrate such a visceral reward, right? This car, this brand new car, we can all see and touch, feel it, we can smell that new car interior. Such important milestones, not just for those individuals, but for everyone at DuePoint. Because again, being able to demonstrate this business, you know, in our 5th year of business, still thriving, still growing, still paying every single month to those earning wealth engineers, and still creating wealth and impacting people's lives on a personal level. Very important.
I was knocked down, heard the countdown through the haze, in the face of defeat, yeah. I was ruled out with no bailout, on my own, all alone, left to bleed out. But I rose up from the ground, just like I was spellbound. All the odds were against me, so I picked up the pace, and now I'm in the race. Give me some space.
When I started in January, I said to Rina, we must work so that we can get this car on our wedding anniversary. Our wedding anniversary was Friday the 11th of September and all the documents are signed the 11th of September.
I'm about to explode.
This is such an awesome business, and I can't understand if people cannot see it. I just wish that everybody will grab this opportunity and really run with it and really work hard on it, because this is my retirement.
Let's give you the car so that you can drive it and enjoy it. Show it to all your wealth engineers. Come sign for me here.
To explode.
So rank 9 was basically our first goal. I'd say to Marshall, if we keep our eyes on rank 9, we're going to do the others. We're going to do the 4, 5, 6s, 7s, etc. But I think what built the confidence is that how we achieved those ranks. They were one after the other, and the momentum kept going. I just love it. I love the car. It's like a predator. And every time I look at it, you know, they say when you park, you walk away from your car and you look back, you know you're driving the right car. And that's exactly what's happening with the Z. It's a very nice car. Straight 6, 3 litre, 4 valves per cylinder, 190 kilowatt at 6,600 RPM with 310 Newton meters torque.
Like, it's surprisingly is we only from 2016 to now, and the idea of wealth is clearing up, get better, brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. But when we started, it was like, we want money, we want to pay bills, and that's it, But now it's about, okay, we understand that we are building wealth, but along the way, these are the benefits, of you getting along the line when you're still building this wealth with DuePoint. So
it's like a plane taking off. I mean, you need to put that time and effort into it to get it off the ground. But you're going to get to the point where you can actually turn around and walk away from it. In my opinion, you need 3 to 4 rank 9s on your first point. At that point in time, you can consider, but the ideal is 9 rank 9s on your first point. Then you know, okay, now I've got a business that's walk away, residual, true residual, go and live on the white beaches of the world and the money will come.
This is a business where we will build vision into South Africans through testimony. And testimony being the story of those few believers in the beginning that went the distance, became wealthy, changed their lifestyles, and now give us that example to show to the rest of South Africans who were, no, it's a pyramid scheme, no, I don't like network marketing, no, all that nonsense. They will now look at those examples and say, sure, but if they can have that, that's what I want, I'm willing to come in. And so to build testimony takes time. And that's what we're building. That's the first 5 years of DuePoint, is proving the system works, proving that we can create testimony, proving that grannies can go from rank 3 to rank 9 in 12 months, and that anybody can get to rank 9 in less than 6 months if they set their heart to it. That's what we've been building. And so again, that gives me a more staid emotional state as I look at the business now. 2016, high emotion. Why are people not getting the vision? Why are people not going and growing? Now more, this takes time. Let's build the testimony. Let's demonstrate our excellence. Let's demonstrate our sustainability.
It's a cornerstone of this business. Again, one in the ability to demonstrate the success that the business is having, not only as a business, but in the lives of individuals. And so that's taken through to so many different events that we have within DuePoint. rewards program that rewards you when you rank up. That again is not only testimony but demonstration of success, and also being able to celebrate individuals that are doing well in the business. We also use our Super Saturday events to do exactly that, and that happens every single month. And if you go watch any Super Saturday, you will often hear me saying, it's my favorite part of the month, it's Super Saturday, because we get to see the business working in normal people's lives, and often people that we've never met, people that just suddenly succeed within a month. They start to rank up. It might be as little as rank 1. They will be getting a little check, a 55 Rand check, but we get to hear their stories. We get to feed off of the testimony and the success that they had, the learnings that they have, and we get to make these little testimonial videos of these individuals of different colors from different parts of the country with different backgrounds, different levels of experience in business, different levels of education, all coming together in the same business, trying to achieve the same thing. And that testimony gets to resonate with all the other individuals out in South Africa who are looking to join this business. And so testimony, like I said, is the cornerstone of this business.
My father always say, never look poor, because that is double. To be poor and to look poor is double. You always look your best, always try to be the best you can be. My name is Lynette Barnors. I'm from Van der Park. I was born in Van der Park. Once you're in Van der Park, you will always be a Van der Park. This is my city, and I love it here. We are still financially active, and I love it. I love the fact that DuePoint is offering me the opportunity to be a person. I couldn't reach my dreams when I was young, but now I can reach my dreams, and I can show people that without education, without anything, I can also do what I put my goal to do that. People are saying this is the head office, DuePoint head office in Van der Park, yes.
What kept us in the business, I think maybe it's the backgrounds that we have with Brandon, the Benfields, the trust, you know, the integrity around the business, the relationship that we have in the business, the support structure that we have in the business as well. Because remember, I'm not doing it for Brandon, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for Ayami and Pet and for our future at the end of the day. But for us to be able to tolerate that where everyone is gone, and we are to like, well, okay, what do we do? Do we get out? We've got this offer, we've got this offer, we've got with this offer. But whatever offers that they've been trying to give it to us, they were short term.
I want DuePoint to be able to say that it has changed the lives economically of a few million people in South Africa. When I say a few, 3, 4, 5 million people, it's not going to take 5 minutes. But even then, I think you know that even then I'd be saying, well, where to now? Where do we go? Who else can we change? Who else can we affect?
One of the milestones that many wealth engineers want to achieve first is reaching rank 9, because you get to experience luxury with your family every single year for the rest of your life, right? That's the promise. Enjoy the rank 9 conference every single year for the rest of your life.
It's calling me, like the rainbow, like the rainbow. It's calling me, like the rainbow, the rainbow.
When we designed this business, a rewards program was put in place to incentivize wealth engineers to build a positive culture within the business. And one of those milestones within our rewards program is what we call our Rank 9 conference, which is where DuePoint, all expenses paid for, will take you and your family on our, typically what was termed an international conference, because it would be overseas every single year. And we would take you and your family away every single year for the rest of your life, once you had superseded Rank 9. The importance of that, not only to incentivize wealth engineers, but again to demonstrate the power of this business, the success of the business, and then to do it repeatedly, even in the face of this pandemic, was really important.
I can't even explain the way we were so happy. We were very happy about Rank 9, because the time we joined, we wanted Rank 9. We were not worried about Rank 10, Rank 11. We were worried about Rank 9 because we know that we're going to travel.
Remember that we were just building and building and building, and suddenly something that we thought that it's far to achieve, and suddenly it's here. You can imagine that moment. So we're going to Mauritius. So we were the first people to go to Mauritius. We were the first people to qualify. It was just too amazing. And we were like, what? Okay, you know.
We've been on trips with the previous company. I was 17 times abroad. So we went abroad. But if you compare them to DuePoint's incentives and the trips to Mauritius, and it's like we went to the backyard. It's absolutely the luxury. You can only dream of it. You know, I don't think the average South African can realize what the value of this holiday is. It is superb. It's really, but I love it. I love every moment of it.
The people that have got children that are going along on these trips, I think it's blowing their minds, because I think those people that realize there's so much of a bigger world out there. You don't need to be limited in your thoughts. You don't need to be limited in your vision. And I think that is something that I certainly take back from that every time. The quality of the hotels, it's places that people would never, ever, ever be able to afford.
And the first time we went, when Brendan said, leave your purses behind, I thought, is he serious? That's impossible, you know. Aren't we supposed to pay for something?
The quality of the thought that goes into the planning and presentation of every trip, from the documents that we receive beforehand to the itinerary, everything is done with such class and precision, and it's just so special. And then the fact that you have these mind-blowing dinners and experiences, etc., but you also have free time. And you can spend time with people that have the same vision, though they might not have the same kind of personality that you have.
2020 has said a lot. 2020 has defined and set DuePoint apart in every business. I remember putting it on Facebook. I'm like, because I know there's a lot of people doing network, they post and this and this and that. I said, where's your business taking you this time? Others were like, oh, we're supposed to go to Thailand. I said, oh, we're also going to go but we're going to Cape Town. So my company did not hide with the lockdown. They still had to make a plan to take us somewhere just to deliver on their promises.
It was so important for us to be able to take our wealth engineers away again in December, even though the borders were closed, to still spoil them, to take their families away, to enjoy 5-star luxury at its best, unbridled, without compromise, because every single day we have to prove to everybody out there that DuePoint is a credible business that they can trust. That is always the goal. That is one of the most important goals in the testimony that we create with our wealth engineers and with the business.
The ultimate goal of the business is to change people's lives and to give people opportunity that wouldn't have usually. So I think that's what makes it worthwhile at the end of the day, because you're not just a number in a big system working to make the CEO rich. You're working for a bigger plan.
When you see our conferences we have, our Converge conferences we have, you actually see it there. People realize themselves what they have achieved.
I think we're also amazed at all the people that we've managed to bring together here. With every new person that's been brought into the company, it's always been a positive change. There hasn't been anybody that actually joined the company since I've been here that had a negative impact.
What I like about you guys, whatever you promise, you make sure you deliver it. And I don't know how come people, they don't see this. Just imagine even that we go to overseas every year. How come they don't want to be there? They just tell you, okay, man, just put me in your pocket.
When we speak about wealth within our business, we are speaking about sustainable income, right? That is what wealth is. It's the ability for your wealth, for your assets to survive even under global pandemics. That is what wealth is all about. The lesson that I've certainly learned over the last 5 years is that if you are truly wanting to change your circumstance permanently, is that you have to be able to look yourself in the mirror and be prepared to bury that person. Unless you're willing to reinvent yourself, you will never change your circumstance permanently.
I would like it to be in a place where people know the name DuePoint. So at the moment, we're still relatively small. I think, if I mention, when my friends say, where do you work, if I'm DuePoint, no one has a clue.
We will get louder and louder in spreading the brand of DuePoint across our economy. The volume is going to get louder and louder. Those are things you can be certain about with us. Your job, I would find no certainty in it. Your business, I'd find no certainty in it. the stability of South Africa, the politics, no certainty in it. DuePoint, you can find your certainty.
Yeah, I think if it can have influence and just more magnitude of that, it's like you mention big insurance companies' names and everyone knows. And if you could say, I'm at DuePoint, and people know who we are and what that is.
Who knows what DuePoint will look like in 20 or 40 years' time? Look at how much we've changed in just the first 5 years. When we launched this business, we had no online presentations. You had to come to our office for the presentation. We didn't have a phone app. Even on the day we launched, we didn't have a website. We only had a website the day after we launched. We had no concept at that point. You and I had no concept of the idea of streaming our presentations live. That was something that would come to us quite soon afterwards, but it would come to us. We look at how much we've had to change in 2020 with the advent of COVID and the lockdowns, how much new technology we've added to the business from our admin side and how much technology our wealth engineers have added. All I know is not what DuePoint will look like, but what DuePoint intends to achieve. Our intention will remain the same. We just may be in completely different clothes when we arrive there. And our intention is to change the society we live in, to have people economically free and to pull people out of this culture of traditional employment. We're going to pull them out of that in the next 20, 30, 40 years. That's what we're going to do. What we look like, I have no idea. How exciting is that?